So today I'm gonna do a ginormous haul for you guys, but before I hop into that, I would really love it if you would subscribe. Please don't forget to like or dislike this video depending on how you like it, and let's just get into some things I wanted to talk about before I haul the new shit that I've gotten. So the first thing I wanted to say is that I'm going to go on a no buy / a low buy. I have talked about it a little bit in previous videos that you haven't even seen yet, but I promise you that I will talk about it a little bit more later on. I've gotten a lot of PR and I have also done a lot of shopping due to the fact that I've had a lot of anxiety. So if that is something that you can relate to, then please let me know your most helpful comments down below. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say. But I will go on a no buy / low buy, but I will of course continue to accept PR that I am interested in. So this is gonna be a pretty long video, I'm assuming, so let's just get into it. And by the way, we are back in my bedroom. Yes, this is crazy for me as well, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. So I guess that you have seen some products because I have done a pretty good job filming with most of the products. Some products you haven't seen yet, but you will probably see in the future. But I still wanted to do like a collected haul and just like a collective haul. So let's start off talking about some products that I picked up at Cult Beauty. So I picked up 3 Charlotte Tilbury products off Cult Beauty because I was really intrigued about the brand, and foremost like their Eyes to Mesmerize products. I have seen Amanda C talk about them so much, and I just love the way she does her makeup. Even though we have different makeup aesthetics, I go way harsher in with my makeup and she's like a more effortless, beautiful, like appreciating her natural kind of beauty. I'll link her down below. I really love her channel. I think that she has beautiful looks, and they're just so, yeah, easy and effortless. Easy is maybe an overstatement, but when you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. But she has talked a lot about these cream shadows from Charlotte Tilbury, which made me want to pick them up. And the first shade I have right here is Champagne. So the texture of these are really moussey. I just swatched it right there just so you could see what it actually looked like. But I just think that the formula is beautiful. It is like a satin shadow, so it's way more grown up than something like a really glittery shadow, if you will. And then this is Oyster Pearl that I just love and adore. I was a little bit scared because it is pretty cool toned. It's not like a super cool tone shadow, but it's still a cool tone. And if you are unaware, I prefer my warm tones, but I just thought that this shadow looked beautiful every time I saw someone use it. So I just needed to pick it up, and I'm really happy that I did. It's not my favorite kind of formula, which means that I will not pick up like all of the shades, but oh my god, I hate my hair. But I do think it's pretty, I'm so sorry. I do think it's a pretty shadow, and I do think it's a pretty formula, so I will definitely continue to use them. And I like the 2 shades that I got. My favorite out of the 2 is actually Oyster Pearl. I thought that Champagne would be a much more preferred shadow for me, but it's not. Then I also picked up a lipstick. I love like nude lipsticks, like, you know, okay, now I'm wearing a red today, but I love this. This is what the color looks like. This is Charlotte Tilbury's lipstick in the shade Kim KW. Oh my god, I'm the worst. Here it is. It's just a pale nude with like pink undertones in it. I just find it to be so stinking pretty. This is like everything I want in a nude lipstick, and I could see myself wear it to a party, to, you know, whatever. And a lot of people have said that Charlotte Tilbury's lipsticks is very overrated. Now, I haven't tried all of her lipsticks, but this formula I'm in love with. It's just so glidey. It just glides on, but it's not thick. If you have tried Colourpop Luxe lipsticks, they can be a little bit thick. They're still beautiful and I adore them, and for the price, It's just, it has a sheen to it. It's super glidey and you don't get that thick layer. So it's not gonna look super thick on your lips, and also a little bit will go such a long way. So it goes on pigmented, but it feels like a sheer lipstick, which I just adore. So I actually picked up another shade. Now I haven't got that order yet. I just have to see what I ended up picking up, because again, I haven't gotten that order. Yes, okay, now I remember. So I bought the shade Live It Up in the same formula, and then I also picked up her Jewel Pots in the shade Walk of No Shame. I picked up Jamie Genevieve's, she has her own brand, and I picked up the Duo Bronzer in the shade Medium, and I also picked up a lipstick from her in the shade Vive. So that's that I haven't gotten yet, but let's continue with the products that I do have, because that's way more fun. From Sephora in Sweden, I picked up a bronzer from Huda Beauty. This bronzer, as soon as I got it, or I saw it, I mean, I was like, sold. I don't know if they say that this is a new brand, because it says that it is Huda Beauty, but then someone said that it was a new brand, Glowish by Huda Beauty, but this has to be from Huda's brand. I'm not really sure, but this one doesn't contain too much product. Well, it's okay, it's a decent amount, it's 8 grams, and it's made in Italy. This is the shade Medium. I was going to pick up the shade Light, but they didn't have it in stock, so I got with a medium one, and I actually think that it looks beautiful. It's what I'm wearing on my skin today, and I do think that it looks really, really beautiful, and I was scared that this kind of marble situation was going to disappear the first time you used it, but no. The formula is super kind of like sheer and a little bit like, it sort of feels like a cream when it's in fact not. And even though it's like a medium shade, I think that it still looks beautiful. I think that the shade is absolutely stunning. I feel like it's warm without being like too warm. So I am really excited about this bronzer. Actually, I haven't tried a lot of things from Huda Beauty. I've barely been excited about her brand, but this one I just felt like I needed to get, that I'm so happy that I do have it. So let's continue with Cult Beauty, because I bought quite a few things from there. I also ended up picking up this one. This is from Becca. I've had it before. This is the under eye corrector in the shade Light to Medium, so it is the lightest shade. I wanted to pick it up from Sephora when I heard that the brand was going out of business, but it was just sold out and it was impossible to get my hands on it. So I love to use this, and what I end up doing is to just take a little bit under my eyes, and then I'm good to go. And I think take a pretty thin layer just because it is so creamy. Now I have used up one of these before, but now I think it's gonna take me even longer, because I'm doing my makeup in a different way where I use pretty thin and sheer layers. Previously I've used pretty thick layers, so now I'm just trying to be a little bit more lighter with my hand. I also ended up picking up from Cult Beauty this bronzer from Kosas. This is the shade Light, and the clasp on this is actually broken, as you can tell, which made me very disappointed. It arrived broken, actually. The thing with this bronzer is that the first time I used it was in a first impression that I can link right up here, and I was really disappointed because it was so fucking powdery that it just went all over, and my brush picked up so much. The next times I've used it, like all of the other times that I've used it, that hasn't happened, so I'm assuming that it is like an overspray or something. It is pretty light, actually, so right now it is a little bit hard for me to use, since, you know, it is so light and I've gotten a little bit of a tan. So I'm just thinking that I can use it a little bit more after the summer, you know. I also picked up this one. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter primer, foundation, whatever you want it to be, highlight. I picked up the shade 2, by the way, but I think it's okay. I don't know if I would repurchase it. I don't know if the hype is so big that I don't know, that I never really felt, I don't know, I think it's hard because the hype has been so big when it comes to that product, and so many of you guys have been like, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, you're gonna love it, you're gonna love it, you're gonna love it. And I assumed that I had so high hopes and big expectations or high expectations, so I do enjoy it, but it's not really what I thought that it would be. I also picked up a lipstick from Natasha Denona. This is what it looks like. I think that it's really pretty. The packaging is okay. It just says Natasha Denona. This is I Need a Nude in the shade Beatrice. So here it is. It's just like a cool tone pinky nude shade. Really pretty, and what I love about it is that it's magnetic. I don't know, but there's just something so luxurious when it comes to packaging being like magnetic. I just think that it's so cool. And then the best thing about the all of my orders from Cult Beauty is the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette. You guys know I've wanted to pick this up for such a long time, and I finally did it. So I'm sore. I am sure that you already know what it looks like, but I still needed to show it to you guys because it is such a beautiful palette. And what I really want to do is to take all of my Natasha Denona palettes that is in this size and kind of rearrange them. So if you have the Love palette, if you have this palette, Sunrise, Bronze, Sendo, and maybe something else, I don't know, but they are all magnetic. You can pop them out and just rearrange them or change and swap shadows, and I really want to do that because I feel like that would be neat. That would be cool. I have recorded 3 looks with this palette. I think I have uploaded 2 when you see this video, but there will be another one coming. And then I've used this so much on my Instagram, so you can just go to my makeup of the day and see all of the looks that I have created with it. And so far I really love the palette, like definitely, and her cream to powder formula is running up there to be one of my absolute favorite formula of all time. I've been so scared using it previous to this because I've been scared that it's gonna crease on my eyes. Not scared anymore. It's my favorite. I want her to do like a palette with only cream to powder formula, and I would purchase it. Even if I hated all of the colors, I would pick it up. I'm gonna hop into some products that I bought from Beautybay, and then I'm gonna show you guys some products that I got from Beautybay. So I have been eyeing the Nabla bronzer for such a long time, and I finally made a decision to pick it up. I bought the shade Ambra, and what's funny about this is that I was going to pick up the Charlotte Tilbury, what is it called? Like the Light Gasm palette. But then one of you guys actually told me that this one is a great dupe for the bronzer, and the highlight that I already had was a great dupe for the highlight. So I was thinking to myself like, okay, let me not pick it up, and now I'm kind of regretting it. But I do enjoy this bronzer. However, I need to find a better brush to pick it up with. I found great brushes for my other Nabla products that I will show you in a little bit. So that's just a little sneak peek. But I need to find a animal hair brush to pick up this one with, because it's gonna be a little bit easier. And then I picked up, because you guys know I love my pigments, so I picked up all of the new pigments from Beautybay, and I have never worn them on my eyes. I'm actually super duper disappointed with them. First and foremost, let me just talk, like the shades are beautiful, so don't get me wrong, but they are not pigments. So let's just talk about the packaging. It's super plasticky, super, yeah, it's just super lightweight, cheap packaging. And I wouldn't have minded that if the formula was incredible. But this is like a super affordable Makeup Revolution eyeshadow that is gonna get hard pan, if you know what I mean. Like, it's not a pigment like they claimed it to be. Even like, I can't even explain it, but it's just, you know, the feel of it. They swatch pretty and all of that, but they are not pigments. They are not even like a Super Shock shadow kind of formula. They're just bad. I don't recommend you guys to pick them up, and I did do a post about these on my Instagram. Like, they look beautiful in swatches and all, but I just don't really know how to describe it other than the fact that they are not pigments like they claimed it to be. So I don't recommend them. I don't think I'm gonna use them, and that's that. Let me talk about what I ended up getting from Beautybay. So I ended up getting some Nabla products. This is the highlight in the shade Ozone. I think it is the lightest shade, and I actually pick it up with a Morphe R36 brush. This is a animal hair brush, and it picks up beautifully, and it is actually the highlight that I'm wearing today. I just think that it looks so sophisticated and elegant because it's not like a super kind of a flaky kind of formula. It is super smooth. It doesn't emphasize texture, and it doesn't contain any glitter particles or anything like that. So it's just like a really beautiful and grown up kind of gelée sort of formula. And then the Nabla highlight in the shade Lola, I use as a blush. It is also what I'm using on my cheeks today. And I have been using it with this ratchet Morphe brush. This is the M405, also an animal hair brush. I just pick it up and then kind of just apply it like this, but it's not as intense, and I think it kind of depends on how you apply it. So you can get it to be like super kind of, not like bam over the top, if you know what I mean. So it's just a beautiful highlight and blush. I mean, I use it as a blush. I'm sure you could use it as a highlight if you wanted to, but I really enjoy it as a blush. And then I got my first melt highlight. This is what it looks like. This is the proper way. This is the Stargazer highlight, digital dust highlight, digital dust. It's really hard to say. I just think that the prints on this is super pretty. I haven't worn it a whole lot, so I can't say much because the Nabla one just came in and stole my heart, but I cannot wait to use this more. More products from Nabla is this one. This is the Skin Realist foundation, and again, it's what I'm wearing on my face today. This is in the shade 2. It is a little bit too deep for my skin actually. Like, I would have needed a little bit of a lighter shade, but I don't think you can really tell that much. This is sheer, and I have a first impression with most of these products that I can link right up here that I got from Beautybay. So if you wanted to see it, you could definitely go ahead and check it out. I'll link some videos with the Metropolis palette as well in my description box. I'll link those down below. But I think that this is a beautiful foundation. Would need a lighter shade, but I'm gonna see if I can mix it once I'm getting a little bit paler again. I also got one of the Mama Mitchell blurches. I know the brand is called Made by Mitchell, but this is one of his blurch. I'm not sold on it. It's like, first and foremost, the color. Like, I picked out the color, so don't get me wrong. The color is in the shade Sweet Cheeks, but it is pretty matte. So once you try and like blend it out, since it is a cream, it kind of dries down pretty quickly. But I feel like there's a good thing about that and a bad thing about that. And when I applied it to my cheeks, it didn't feel like it dried down too quickly like it does when I blend it in with my finger and kind of just press it down. But I think it has to do with the fact that you're kind of blending, keeping the product warm or something. I don't know. But it's a really unique formula, and I am very excited to continue to use it. Then I got one of Beautybay's own palettes. This is the New Romance palette. No, New Romantic. I'm so sorry. This is a warm tone palette that they came out with for Valentine's, so it is a pretty not old palette, but you know what I mean. It's an older palette and it has these beautiful pinks and purples and warm tones. It has a black that wasn't like too pigmented. It was still a very nice black, but it wasn't like a bam boom kind of black that you need to work a lot with. If you have a problem with blending out blacks, then this could be a black for you. Now, I have only used this once and that was in a video, so I'll link it, but I definitely enjoyed this palette. I thought that the shimmer especially was really pretty. I used this one. Super beautiful, and I can't wait to do some more like super light and like neutral looks with this one, because it is a beautiful palette, and from my understanding it is a limited edition palette, so I think that once it's gone, it's gone. Next up, I got this one also from Beautybay. This is the Mitchell's, or Made by Mitchell, Feet Off the Ground palette. So it comes with this beautiful pouch, so stinking cute. And then this is what the palette looks like. I obviously store it in this one because I think that it's so cool. He has like a blue tone palette as well, but this is the one that really speaks to me. This is way more my color story. So when I used it, I used this one and the yellow one and the green one, and I think I used a little bit of that one as well. Really stunning palette. Did enjoy it, but you'll see a more video on it. You'll see a video with it coming up pretty soon. Nothing to complain about, just a beautiful palette. Then I wanted to mention, this was super cute. This is actually from one of you guys that sent me your Sigma Enchanted palette. This I just thought was so cute, and I swatched out some of the shimmers. They are phenomenal, like truly phenomenal. Super glittery, super intense. So I can't wait to just slather this all over my eyes. I think it's gonna be such a fun palette. Let's talk about some Colourpop goodies that I have barely like packed up because I'm weird like that. So first and foremost, I picked up this one. This is the Mandalorian The Child Pressed Powder Palette. Of course, I had to get this because it's so cute. Still haven't used it, but I cannot wait to use it. But it has some neutrals and it has your greens. So I think that this is such a fun and fantastic palette that is out there while still being neutral, if you know what I mean. Like, it's such a fun palette, and I am so excited to get to use this and play with it. I just think that it's so pretty. I also picked up the Making Mauves palette. I'm not too sure about this because even though I still, like, I think that it's stunning and all of that, I just don't really know if it is my kind of colors. You guys know I don't love these kind of neutrals, and I have the Flutterby palette, so I don't know if I should keep this or not, but I'll end up seeing it. But I just thought that it was a stunning palette, so that's why I picked it up. I also picked up a shit ton of their Super Shock shadows. So this is the first little set that is called Snake Eyes. You got 2 shades. So you got Couche, which I don't think I'm gonna keep. I actually just picked it up for the shade Ritz, which I have already used once. So Ritz is a stunning shadow, and it is like one of their most sold shades. It's like super glittery, super intense, and it's a little bit like cool tone with like a shit ton of different sparkles into it. It's just phenomenal. So that's the only reason why I picked it up. Like, I didn't really want Couche because I don't know, I just thought that Ritz was so much prettier, but Ritz was sold out as a single, so I picked it up in this set. I also picked up Sailor, and the funny thing is that so many of you guys have said that, oh, this is one of my favorites just because it is so sheer and pretty, and then some other people have said, oh, I hate this one because it's so sheer and like a topper. But it looks really pretty. It has like these purple reflex into it, and it's just a gorgeous shadow. Then I had to pick up You're My Sunshine, which is such a fun pink color. It's like a pink with like purple shifts into it. It's absolutely fantastic. It's so pretty. So I am so excited to get to use that one on my eyes. And then I also picked up I Heart This, which seems to be a little bit more of like a champagne as a base. The other shadows seems to be a little bit more like with a pink and purpley reflect, like Ritz, versus this one that seems to be a little bit more of that cool tone champagne-y warm shade. I know it sounds so weird when I say that, but that's the way it is. And then I picked up Secret Garden, which is just like the prettiest shadow in the entire world. Not maybe, but it's just so pretty. Even Nicholas, when I showed it to him, he was like, oh my god, that's beautiful. And then the last Super Shock shadow that I picked up is actually one from Raw Beauty Christie's collaboration with Colourpop. I know they said that Moonwalk and Like a Moss was so similar. I bought Like a Moss because, I don't know, like this one seemed to be a little bit more green in undertone, and it just seemed to have a little bit more of that green sort of vibe. So I ended up buying this one. And then the last product that I ended up picking up from Colourpop was another eyeshadow palette. And that is their Limoncello palette. So here it is. This is what it looks like. I actually ended up picking it up because I just wanted a few shades from this palette. So I wanted to like depot them and then put some shadows in here that I didn't want and just sell off the palette. But you guys informed me that this palette has bigger pans, so it contains the same amount as like the Making Mauves palette, for instance. Let me just see if that's correct. It contains 9 grams. Yeah, so that is correct because this contains 9 shadows, 9 grams, so 1 gram per shadow. This one contains 12 grams and it contains 12 eyeshadows, so that is 1 gram per shadow as well. It's just bigger pans, but there's less product in them, if that makes any sense. So the shades that I really wanted to take was like these two, maybe something else, but I don't mind it. It's okay that I cannot pick out like or pull out the shadows that I wanted, because I actually think that this is a stunning palette. However, the blue shadow is just throwing me off. I wish it wasn't really in there because it's just really, I don't know, it just makes no sense with this palette. Maybe you think that it does, and that's totally fine. But I don't know. I think that the palette is stunning, and I used it the other day. I liked it, but I thought that the yellow shimmer that I used was like really flaky, so I had to use it wet. But the mattes blended beautifully and to perfection. Now, some of you might be a little bit sad that I didn't pick up the Super Shock shadow in the shade Fruit Punch, I think it's called, but it was sold out when I placed my order. So they did have, like a few days later, they had free shipping for international customers. So I did place my order then. And then I picked up the shade Fruit Punch. I'll have a little picture here just so you can see what it looks like. I also picked up the Super Shock shadow Run Wild, and then the Wild Child palette. And I am blaming Steph Lyons for this. I'll link her down below. One of you guys actually recommended her channel to me, and since I have been obsessed. She has like an Irish accent, and I love it. So I watch all of her videos, I watch back to all of her videos, and I just think that she's such a fun person. She does a lot of hauls and like party pants and stuff like that, so she'll link down below. But she talked so much about the Wild Child palette, and it's just like these beautiful like bronzy shades that I absolutely wanted and needed in my life, so I ended up buying it. Now I'm gonna hop into a PR package that I got from Look Fantastic. So the first product that I got was this mini glam palette from Natasha Denona. I think that this is really cute, and I do love the matte 2 shadows that's in this palette, and obviously I love this one. I'm not too fond of the shade in the middle because you guys know I don't like grays, but I do like this one, and I'm contemplating like, would I enjoy the mini glam palette, the big glam palette I mean, like would I enjoy it? And I think yes and no. So It's really hard actually. I love Natasha Denona. She's just becoming one of my favorite brands. It's hard not to pick up products from her. I also ended up getting this one from London, and this one, like, I beg you, don't sleep on this one. This is in the shade Unfazed, and this is such a beautiful bronzy creamy shadow. It's not like a cream, but it is still like a cream. It applies like a dream. It's unlike any other pigment that I have in my collection, and it's just so stinking beautiful. And it's so affordable. So if that's something you would like, then I definitely recommend it. And the same thing goes for the Lime Crime shadows, the lid lights. This is in the shade Airy, which is my favorite kind of shade. It's just this really pale creamy shadow. These are like the Super Shock shadow, and they're so creamy, almost like they are even more spongy than their other ones. I also got the shade Lotus, which is such a beautiful shadow that has a bunch of different pink reflects into it. It's just incredible. And then I also got the shade Lily Pad, which again is really pretty. MAC launched a collection with Cruella de Vil. Cruella. I really want to say Cruella. I think her name is Cruella, but I always think about a curl. I'm so sorry. They launched a collection with her anyway, and I thought it was butt ugly, but I loved the lipstick. So this is in the shade Sweet and Vicious. Like, it's just a beautiful pink nude, and I have been wanting to use it for so many days, but as you can see, I've gone pretty warm, so I just don't really feel like a pink one works great with that, so I have just not applied it to my lips, but I'm waiting and then I'll apply it. I was also sent this one from MAC. This is the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Light Plus. So this is what it looks like. I'm assuming that this is like a hourglass powder situation, but I'm a little bit unsure actually. Let me just apply a little bit and we'll see how it applies. I have used it, but I can't remember. Oh, this is what I hate with the Becca under eye thing. Can you see here that my mascara touches my, or my lashes touches my under eyes, and I just get super black. Hate that. Let's take a little bit of this powder. Yeah, it seems to like matten it down a little bit without being like too much. It doesn't make you look dry and crusty, if you know what I mean. Definitely like a very interesting powder that I think could be a fun little powder for me. So that's neat. Now to what I'm wearing on my eyes today. I ended up getting the Natasha Denona Sendo palette, and in the beginning, this is actually again what I have on my eyes today, and I did film it, but in the beginning when I saw this palette, I was not impressed or interested at all, because I just don't really like when you kind of mix colors like this. But then I ended up seeing so many beautiful looks that was created with it, and I started to appreciate it for what it actually is. So instead of me thinking that I need to mix these colors with each other, that's definitely not what I need to do. I can use only the warms in here and create something beautiful, or only the cooler tones in here. This one is probably my favorite in the entire palette, because I just think that it is such a beautiful shade, and it has like this green undertone. And then Mindful is also a favorite because it is that cream to powder formula that I absolutely love and adore from Natasha, and it is what I'm wearing on my eyes today, which I've said for probably 75 billion times. I also ended up getting this palette from Iconic London. This is gonna be such a hard time to feature, but if you look at the back here, it is 6 pigments, but it comes in like this palette form. I will show you guys a close-up so you can see it better there, but it is pigments, and they are loose pigments, and I think that this is gonna be a beautiful, beautiful palette because I swatched it, and OMG to the freaking lords how pretty that was. So I am really excited to start playing with that palette. Then I also got a PR package from What's Up Beauty, which is a new indie brand to me. I've never really heard about them before. And they sent me 6 eyeshadow brushes. This is animal hair, and they're so pretty. Tara Baby said actually compare them to her Hakuhodo brushes, Refer brushes, and stuff like that. So I think that that says a lot, and I have reached for these every single time I've done my makeup because I just really enjoy them, and I think that they come in great shapes, I mean. And then they also came out with this eyeshadow palette. I have done a look with it. I don't think it's up on my channel yet, but I promise that it will go live. It's just a beautiful kind of palette that has beautiful shifts and beautiful different kind of shades that is super shifty, but you also have those shimmers that is a little bit more toned down. And then I really enjoy the mattes because they are pretty neutral and easy to work with. You can do something pretty neutral and go and, you know, leave your house. You can do something super colorful as well. Oh, the last thing I wanted to talk about is a pigment. I think that this is the last thing anyway I wanted to talk about, and this is from Hourglass. I bought this, and this is in the shade Reflect. It's just a beautiful everyday color for me. I just think that this is the perfect shade for me. I like the formula, but I'm not sold on it. But I think that it is a gorgeous formula, so don't get me wrong, but it's just a beautiful formula. But the shade is what makes me really love this palette shade, I mean, sorry. So I just wanted to tell you guys about another thing that I haven't gotten yet that is also from Look Fantastic, and that is some new NARS products. So I'm getting the new NARS bronzer and the cream NARS bronzer and 2 lippies from NARS as well. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else to come to me, but I will purchase the Petra Top palette as soon as I can get my hands on it. But other than that, I don't think I have too many things to collect into my channel, or to my collection, I mean. So hope you enjoyed this haul. I know it was a pretty long one, but hope you enjoyed it anyway. Let me know which product you are mostly excited about. Don't forget to subscribe to see looks and videos with all of these products. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to like this video or dislike this video depending on how you like it, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!